The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. Steve Murray here. I do apologize for the delay. We had a technical difficulty here, which I think may have been mine, so I do apologize for that. Didn't mean to keep you all waiting, and hopefully we'll get things back. What I'm going to do is shorten up a little bit here and get as quickly to Dave as we can. Dave, were you able to get on today? So that is part of the difficulty. We'll have him on here shortly. But in the meantime, let me just get started with a few things. So a couple things to keep in mind. Number one, there'll be a couple polls that will pop up, and I'm going to do those quickly today because we want to get right to the meat here because we're already a bit delayed. So I will do those rather quickly, so it'll be up to you to hit yay or nay on those fairly quickly. If you have any questions, just go ahead and type them in, and we'll get them answered as quickly as we can. So again, my name is Steve Murray. I'm with Insurance Agency Marketing Services. We're going to talk today about Social Security claiming, and this is a popular webinar for a very good reason. It's been very successful. What our guys have accomplished with Social Security claiming training and seminars has really changed some lives and changed some businesses. And so I think a lot of you probably have gotten the wind of that and are joining us today to learn a little bit more about that. Dave is going to be an excellent resource for us, and he'll be a great speaker resource for us here today. So let's go ahead and get started. Again, thank you all for joining us. I'm going to get through this as quickly as I can. So if you look on the screen before you, what you see is a couple programs that we have. What I'm going to do in the interest of time is make sure that you are aware of these programs, and then I'll be glad to answer any questions that you might have if you are not already taking advantage of these programs. So referred producer program, you refer somebody to us, they do business, then we continue to pay you on their business. It does not come out of their pocket. They are still eligible for all of our programs. You do not have any legal liability. You don't have any commission liability. We just pay you a bonus for referring them, and we pay that on every piece of business that they do. Marketing reimbursement, again, is a simple program. When you do business with us, whether it's life, annuity, long-term care, MedSup, whatever you do with us, you get some money put into marketing reimbursement, and that account is out there for you to use to match your marketing spend dollar for dollar. So that's a great little program, and between those two programs they're taken advantage of pretty regularly by our crew. So hopefully, if you have any further questions on that, just give me a call here at the office. For those of you that are just joining us right now, that kind of spent your a time with the marketer, understand what we do, how we do it, understand the products and how they work. I want to make sure that you know about the new producer program. So you've got 3 levels there, and I'm going to draw your attention to the 500,000 point level. Those point levels, by the way, correspond dollar for dollar to annuity. They're discounted for life premium and single premium life premium and any other thing that you do with us. But at the 500,000 level, you can see that there is a way that we can pay for your mailing, pay for your coaching, pay for your Social Security packet, and get you basically 100% in the Social Security claiming seminar business at our expense. And that's a great, I've had people where they've done that and they've done a little business with us, got up to that 500,000 level, done the Social Security claiming seminar and done $1 million from it. So it can happen, and it can really be a self-completing deal. And that's something that you learn and have that can grow your business for years to come. So that's a great way to get into this business. Bottom line is that when you're appointed with us in your first 180 days, you can claim at any one of those 3 levels, and we'd love to have you take advantage of us there. Great back office support here. For those of you that do business with us, you already know this. We've got a ton of folks that we dedicate to making sure that when you do a piece of business with us, that gets through that process and in and out of the company as quickly as possible. It's gotten more complicated over the last 5 or 7 years than it used to be when I got in the business in 1984, for sure. We feel like we need people dedicated to that. We've gone to the expense and built that out. We've got some great people in there. When I talk to folks that do business with us on a regular basis, they say that's really important to them, having that. It saves them having to hire somebody to do it or do it themselves. So that's a great part of our business. We've got great people on the sales director position as well. Those are people with a lot of experience, know the business, know the products, can help you from building out a sales presentation and getting your proposal out, making sure it's just right, and making sure that you've got everything that you need to do business. So we'd love to help you at any juncture of the sales process. That whole process, we're very, very good at that. Our competitors would tell you the same.
Hey, Steve, you've been in business since 1984?
Well, I've been in the business since 1984. I know. I look a lot younger than that.
Yeah. How old are you?
Let's not go
You've seen it all. You've seen it all.
Well, since I met you, I've seen a lot more. So before you're on the screen, and Dave, I know you had some technical difficulties, and we did too. So we got started late. So I'm going to get through this stuff quick and get you on to what you need to do here really quickly. I just want to let the folks out there know from the creative marketing side, we've got a great group of folks that are dedicated to the marketing part of our business, which means the marketing part of your business. So whatever you need, whether it's a website or Facebook presence or setting up something as simple as business card, they'll do all that. We're going to do a lot of that for no cost. I mean, our goal there is to help you build your business, and we can do it with a relatively small amount of time and effort on our part and make a big difference in your business. We're going to do that at our cost. But things that we do have a hard cost on, we're going to pass that through, so you can use marketing reimbursement, but it's going to be at the cost. So if you need a marketing department and you don't have one, then we're going to help you with that. And if you don't need a marketing department, that means you've already got an unlimited number of prospects coming and talking to you every day. Congratulations. But if you don't have that and you need some assistance, give our team a call and let them help you. Our website, so you can't see it, but you might be able to see it actually on your screen. But if you look at that picture of our website, we've got a lot of great stuff on there. But if you look at the small print, you see home with IAMS products, training, and support. When you have time, next time that you're on our website, www.iamsinc.com, go to that support and go to the IAMS library. And I challenge you to find not be able to find something that you could put in action in your business right away. There's just a tremendous amount of resources there that can help you grow your business. So go over there, look at that IAMS support. A lot of guys don't look at it. We pay an annual fee to have all that stuff out there for you, and you're going to be amazed at what you can take advantage of there. I just want to make sure that it's getting used properly because we're paying for it either way. So go out there to IAMS support. A lot of things you can do out on there. You can see our annuity grid. You can go in and do proposals on different annuities. You can go in and select annuities by what you're looking for on our annuity sales grid. A lot of things you can do there. If you want somebody to walk you around that, give us a call here at the office and say, hey, show me your website. Show me what I can do and what I can't do. And we'll tailor that kind of review of the website to your business. So give us a call and let us walk you through that and show you what you can access. They're great tools. Retirement Analyzer, just met the guy that developed this. I'd met him and he used to do, but I met him again more recently, or saw him again more recently, and he's like, gosh, we've upgraded that thing and we've got classes going on. We got people using that and growing their business. We make this available to you, the Retirement Analyzer software, at no cost. This is all free to you. So take advantage of that. Call Marcus here in our office and say, hey, is this a software tool that makes sense for me? Have him give you a free sign-on. You can use it for 30 days. And if you say, hey, this is something, all we ask you to do is just call us and say, well, I'm not going to use it, so we can release that to somebody else. We're not asking you to pay for anything. That's at our expense right now. So take advantage of that. If you need a software tool that kind of help you and your clients understand where they are in their retirement journey, what they need to do differently, where they might be in terms of risk and compared to where they want to be in terms of risk. There's a lot of stuff there. It's very graphic, very user friendly. I'm not going to tell you that it doesn't require a lot of information on the input, because there is a lot of input, and that's one of the things that Steve and I spoke about just a week ago. Is he's going to do kind of a light version of that with smaller number of inputs to make it easier for you. But again, no matter what you're doing, the more information that you have, the better that you can do for your clients. So take a look at that Retirement Analyzer and see if that can help you grow your business. If you want to see what that can do, or if you want to just talk about it to our in-house expert, call Marcus Soller here at our office, 800-255-5055. Have him walk you through some basic stuff and have him give you a sign-on for it. Wealth management, quick poll here. So if you want to learn more about IAMS Wealth Management, I'm going to ask you to check yes on this poll, and I'm going to leave it up for about 40 seconds, so you're going to have to act fast. IAMS Wealth Management is an RIA. We established that RIA. We began to think about it 3 or 4 years ago. We actually put it into place about a year ago now. Seen nice growth there, and the reason for that is a lot of the guys like you out there that we do business with want to add that to their business, and we make it pretty easy to do. I am constantly reinforced by folks that have moved to IAMS Wealth as to what a great job they do with folks that kind of come from an insurance background that are looking for a track to run on and a system system that makes it easy for them to be asset gatherers and for them not to have to be, the super expert to do a good job for their clients and not to have to refer them to someone else that they could lose their other business to as well when they want to do business that's not within the insurance realm. So if you want to protect your business, if you want to grow your business, if you want to establish some value in your business, hit yes on that. Spend a couple minutes with Charles or Mike. Let them walk you through what they do. They can help you through the testing process, or if you have your IAR already and looking for a new home that maybe fits you better and fits someone with your background better, they'll walk you through that, talk with you about how they do what they do, and see if it's not a good fit for you. So that's something that is of interest, and thank you all for your quick vote on that. Appreciate you being so quick. I'm going to close that poll down, but if those of you that maybe are not unsure, I would say that you should hit yes, have that 5-minute conversation with young Charles, and he will walk you through what they do, how they do it, see if it's a fit. And if it's not a fit for you ever, or if it's not a fit right now, that's great. At least you've explored it and given it a little bit of give it some weight and see if it might be a fit for your practice. If it's something that you don't want to do right now, don't have time to do right now, just hit no, and it looks like y'all have. So I appreciate you voting really quickly on that. I'm going to close that poll out. Let's get moving on. Dave, can you tell we're moving at a faster clip today?
Yeah, you're doing a very good job. I'm impressed.
Well, you're not easy to impress. So I'm going to talk for just a minute also about our Life and Annuity Academies, and I just want you can see, or maybe I opened the poll too quickly, but I think the centerpiece of our Life and Annuity Academy is our first bullet point there, which is sales ideas and strategies from 4 top producers. So we have Dave come in, John Enting, Matt Gill, Anthony Lawrence. These are guys that are proven, successful, done a lot of business for years and years and years, have very succinct and simple sales processes that they use, and have taken the time to put those in a format that we can pass it on to other folks. Is everything that you learn there going to be for you? Certainly not. But might you find 1 or 2 or 3 approaches or systems that could make a night and day difference in your business from the sales and marketing standpoint? We've seen it happen over and over again. There's a reason why the Life and Annuity Academy, IAMS Life and Annuity Academy, has been kind of pegged, I think, industry-wide as one of the best out there. Some of it's because we pay for everything. We're going to take care of your travel, going to take care of your lodging, and take care of your, meals and drinks while you're here. But a good part of that is when guys go away, they're like, now that's, product is product, and we can teach you product over the phone, but learning from top producers to how do you grow your business, that doesn't come easy. It doesn't come along every day, and we've been doing that here at IAMS for 12, 13 years now. So we're pretty good at it. And the part that's good is that we understand that the best information comes from people like you that have had a long trail of success and built businesses doing the same types of things that you do every day, and just learned how to do it maybe a little bit better, a little bit more efficiently, a little bit more productively, and passing that on to our guys. And that's been kind of a cornerstone of our growth. And if you're interested in going, or if interested in maybe even learning, seeing an agenda, hit yes. If you hit yes, what's going to happen is you'll get an email, and that email will have 2 things. It will have a sample agenda, which pretty much has been very similar for the past 4 or 5 years, and you also get a registration form. If you look at the agenda and say, this isn't for me, which doesn't happen very often, but certainly can, then don't send back the registration form. If you look at the agenda and say, hey, this is for me, then fill out the registration form. We do about 4 of these a year. We're doing one here at the end of May. We did one earlier this year already. We've got 2, maybe 3 more that we'll do yet this year. And so we'll just call you up and say, is this time a fit? Is this location a fit? And if that works out and good for you, then we'll bring you in. Simple process, simple but effective. And it looks like we've got a few folks that have not yet voted on that. And maybe it's those of you out there that have joined us in the past. I appreciate that. For those of you that have joined us in the last couple of years, want to come back in, certainly if you want to have a call with me, we can talk it over. I do want to make it available to as many new folks as we can. That being said, if you have a compelling reason to come in again, we can see if we can make that happen for you. And I certainly understand the value and benefit to you, and we're going to make it happen if we can for you. But if you would, check no if you've been in recently, and then give me a call, and we'll talk it over. With that, I am going to close that poll out. Thank you again for being so quick to vote on that. I appreciate it. Close that out. We got to be getting close to Dave here. So it says stay tuned. We'll be announcing soon where we're going to go on our next Top Producer Summit. We have announced it, Dave. I don't know if I mentioned this to you. We're going to go to the Ritz-Carlton down in Naples, Florida. So it sits on the beach, not too far from some golf courses. So you'll enjoy that.
Great.
Yeah, it'll be nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah, hard to go wrong with the Ritz. That's a great location. A lot of stuff in the Naples area that a person can do. Plus, our guys and gals seem to love those. Gulf beaches a lot, so we're gonna do that, and there'll be plenty of time for golf and sightseeing, having fun. That will be in August of 2019. Qualification is currently ongoing right now, and will continue through June of 2019, and we'll have the meeting out there in Naples in late August. So we'd love to see you out there. I think that's probably the first formal announcement that we've done on that. So we'd love to see you all out there. There's something that we can do to help you get there. If you have more questions on details, I'll be glad to answer those for you. Like I said, give us a call here. All right. Now, boy, thanks, Dave, for making it on with us, and thank you all out there for being patient with us. We've got a big crew here. I don't know if you can see that on your end, Dave. We've got a very large group today, and it's good stuff. As I started by saying, it's the reason for that is we've seen success, and maybe you all have seen, gotten wind of that. The Social Security claiming there's some opportunity there. There's ways to get in front of good people, just the people that you want to talk to, but you need to have that track to run on, and you need to have the ongoing support to make it happen. And Dave has been really, really, I would say, if there's anybody better at it than Dave, I haven't met him yet. I mean, he does a great job, helps our guys get set up and moving in the right direction right from the start, helps them with Social Security part of it, helps them with what have you done now, Dave, about 470, 480 live seminars?
That's right. Yep, that's right.
Yep. So, through the seminar process, and then, of course, you can't have a seminar without getting, being good at getting those appointments and then converting those appointments to sales. And Dave is exceptional at each level of that, and it's all because he's an experienced producer just like you all. So great to have him on board with us today. Great to have that kind of experience. And I would be the first one to say that I think part of Dave's charm for us is the fact that he is really invested in the folks that he works with being successful in the things that they do. So it's one thing to show a guy. It's another thing to say, okay, here's what's happening. Why is it happening? What can we do to make that better? Hey, glad to have you've been successful there. How can we be more successful? Great that you got 50% or 60% appointments, but we can get you better than that. So Dave has done a great job with our guys and helping them at every step of the way, and then being invested in their success. So it's been a real benefit to our guys. With that, I'm going to turn it over to the coach, Dave Pimper, president of Lazarus Coaching.
Good. Thank you very much. And thanks for everybody being on the phone. I knew from how many people signed up originally, whether they didn't all come on board, but I know we've got a big group across the U.S. And Steve, I'm sorry to do this again to you. For some reason, this happened last time to me too, but I cannot see the presentation on the screen. So what we'll do is you'll just kind of tell me of what the headline is of each slide. And I also have an outline here, but I've changed it some in the last few months. So if you could just kind of go along with me, we will go through, and hopefully by the time that I get done talking and explaining about Social Security claiming, and again, remember this, Social Security claiming, it's difficult. I mean, it's not easy. Only 3% of the John Q. public and Josephine Q. public really understand how Social Security works. That's wild. Only 3%. And as advisors or agents or brokers or financial sales folks, only 15% know. So there's 85% of us probably on the webinar today that they may know a little bit about it, but could you go in and give a webinar like this? Or could you go in like I did yesterday and give a seminar, which I did last night here locally? Can you do that? By far the majority of advisors can't. And I'm talking about whether it doesn't make a difference if it's UBS, Merrill Lynch, Edward Jones, Morgan Stanley, Wachovia, all the big boys, Wells Fargo. Most people that are producers like ourselves don't understand Social Security. And so what happens is it puts us into a really unique situation that again, I'm not making this up. It just happened this morning. I talked to some folks that was probably 4 years ago, and we talked about Social Security, and because I just got a phone call back from him today. So what does he do? He calls. I could not remember who they were because I talked to so many people from seminars, but he calls me and says, Dave, I don't know if you can remember me or not. And of course, the only reason I did, because I have him into my system, in my CRM Redtail system, and I saw the notes that we had met. I saw the report that I'd given him, but he said, we're ready to claim. You called me and said, when I'm ready to claim, to see if there's been any changes in the Social Security laws, which is interesting because the 2005 Bipartisan Budget Act did change some of the spousal benefits on deeming and claiming. And so I said, yes, there has. We met, and the interesting thing is what's available. Yeah, all of a sudden, he's got $700,000, and he's retiring in his 401k. Now, I have not gotten that money yet, but I think I have a fighting chance to get it all or get at least a portion of it. And so Social Security, if you know Social Security, it'll make you a better advisor. Just knowing Social Security alone wouldn't have got me that lead, but having a seminar as the marketing tool, that's key, absolutely key. And all of my coaching comes with that. It's important that we do a seminar. So I'm not coaching just for the sake of coaching Social Security. I'm coaching because that alone does not make us money. What makes us money and compensates us and helps the client is that if we get in front of a lot of qualified leads. Okay? So let's go ahead and do this, Steve. Let's go ahead and go into the next slide and you just tell me what the headline is, and we're going to go from there.
What baby boomers need to know to maximize retirement income.
That's right, baby boomers. So the demographics that we mail to are 58 through 67. What's the earliest you can take? And this is Social Security 101. The earliest you can take Social Security is 62. That's the earliest. And there's some survivor benefits that you could take at 60 and disability and children's. But I'm talking about the basic Social Security individual benefit. The earliest you can take is 62. When do people start thinking about Social Security? In their late 50s. That's the first time they start thinking about it. So we mail demographics, and there's other income demographics and area demographics and et cetera. But baby boomers, I mean, you got 75 million people that in the next 16, 17 years are going to be turning 62, 63, 64, 65. I mean, it's over 10,000 a day. Yeah, and that's why do I like working with this group? I like working with the group because that's the group who has the assets. I mean, it's the old Willie Sutton analogy. Remember who Willie Sutton was? He was a bank robber. They said, why do you rob banks? He said, that's where the money is. Well, you know what? I help people in this age demographic, but that's why I don't do really college funding, or I don't work with a lot of younger folks because there just isn't as much money there. But I tell you, 70% of my business works with some type of IRA or qualified money rollover. I've got another one. I mean, I'm just letting you know, I'm calling this morning. She sold some real estate. They've got about $140,000 available. They came to a workshop. Actually, he came to a workshop with his mother. The mother did business. They were farmers in Nebraska. This is probably 8 or 9 years ago. He didn't have much money at all. He had a little bit, maybe invested $20,000. She invested a couple $100,000. But when she died, the father was already deceased. All of a sudden, the two sons, they get the farm, and one of the farms they sold. All of a sudden, he's one of my larger clients, multi-million. But she has another. So she sold the property. Who he married after this workshop. Only married about 3 years ago. Great gal. Met her on a cruise. And came back to Nebraska, but that all came. I got a call coming into her for this $150,000-$160,000, and Steve, actually, she already has some guarantees and has some others from a security side of me, but but we've got a cap here that we can get that's above 6%. And I do, as you know, I do S&P 1 year point to point. Well, that's very competitive in today's. So I called IAMS's desk, wanted to make sure that cap was still available for 1 year point to point. But the reason I bring that up came from a seminar. And Social Security plays such a key part for my business. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. So does it say ages 58 through 67?
It does.
Yeah. So look at those questions. When should I apply for the benefits? People are coming and they want to know, hey, Dave, when should I apply? What's the best age to apply? How can I coordinate benefits with my spouse? That got changed some, got watered down. Restricted application is still available. File and suspend has gone away. But what are the costs if I take early? Hey, if I delay, how much more will I make? Survivor benefits, divorce benefits. Tons of divorce benefits are not taken. And survivor benefits are some of the most liberal benefits that Social Security has. A lot of folks don't think it's going to be there for them. But you know what? 2.85 trillion, that's with a T, like ton of money, is in the Social Security Trust Fund. Largest social program, government social program in the world, just shy of $3 trillion. Now, here's what happens is, what you probably don't know is, if I said, did Social Security run a deficit or a surplus last year? Was there more tax money coming in, or was there more Social Security benefits going out? Most folks would say going out, because you hear all those politicians say how it's bankrupt. Well, you know what? It still ran a surplus, and it will and should, projected by the Social Security trustees through 2021, and then over the next probably 12 years or 13 years, the trust fund will be depleted. That's pretty interesting. You'll get the naysayers. They say, but that trust fund is supposed to have government guaranteed bonds, special issued government guaranteed bonds. But the government has borrowed against that. So there's just IOUs there. It's really a pyramid scheme. Well, the government has borrowed on a lot of that money. But you know what? That IOU to the trust fund, Social Security Trust Fund, is the exact IOU that is the dollar in your pocket. What backs that dollar? It's not gold. It's not silver. It's not anything tangible. It's just an IOU from the U.S. government. The full faith and credit of the U.S. government backs that $1, $20, $50, $100 bill, just like what backs Social Security. So I tell people, when that dollar is worthless or isn't worth anything, then that Social Security Trust Fund will be worth nothing with its IOUs. That's my feeling. Okay? Also, it's interesting when your politicians and people say, the pundits, and they say Social Security is bankrupt or going bankrupt. Well, you know what? Proposed in 2034 or 2035. So in 16, 17 years, there'll be no money in the trust fund. Well, if I ask the average person, so if you're making $2,000 in Social Security right now, and that trust fund is belly up, there's no money in the Social Security Trust Fund, it's bankrupt. How much money will you be receiving from your $2,000 then from then forward? Most people would say nothing. It's bankrupt. But they forget this is a pay-as-you-go system. People are still putting into payroll tax or putting into FICA. What's FICA stand for? Acronym for what? Federal Insurance? Yeah, Federal Insurance. Contributions Act. That's what FICA stands for. We're putting in our 6.2%. The employer, or if you're self-employed, you're putting it in yourself, they're matching 6.2. That 12.4, it goes to pay for Social Security. So if the trust fund was completely gone, the 2.85 trillion in 2034 or 35, and that comes to effect, there's still going to be between 75 and 79% of that money will be paid out to you. So what's 75% of 2,000? $1,500. Well, you're going to have a deduction, but there's still, it's pay as you go. So the trust itself for money is bankrupt, but not the ongoing incoming payroll taxes. Interesting. You don't hear that from politicians. They scare the seniors half to death. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. Shows an article, Steve.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah. Just you don't see. You know what? You didn't see stuff like this 10 years ago. But here, how to maximize your Social Security benefits? Yeah, a lot of people want to know. And you know what? This is. I also do 401k workshops. I do some other workshops too. But there's no doubt that Social Security has the biggest draw. And Steve, you'd agree with that. You know why? Because people just don't know much about it. When you have a 401k IRA rollover seminar, I mean, people kind of understand about the 401k. But when you talk Social Security, and this is sad. If you'd asked me 10 years ago, Dave, how much do you know about Social Security claiming? I would have said very little. Very little. Not now, but back then. And why did I start to go in and really get expertise in Social Security claiming? Well, it was because I was getting more and more questions. And they figure, hey, I'm not just a financial product salesperson, but I'm advising them on financial matters. And you know what? 94% of all Americans take Social Security. What part of Americans have life insurance? Not 94%. What part have annuities? Not 94%. What parts have stocks and bonds? Not 94%. You got 100% that breathe air, and then the next level down is 94% of them take Social Security. Well, I like going in and marketing to a big group. And then we do demographics. We do investable assets. Certainly we do. We may do income or net worth for demographics. Absolutely might. We want households. We don't want rentals usually, unless it's in a big high-end rental community, maybe down in Florida. Yeah, we do all those things. And so we're trying, the average person that comes to a workshop, a seminar like this, they basically have filtered themselves down. Anyone who 43% of the people take at 62. They take a reduced benefit the earliest they possibly can. At 62, it's a 43 or 44%. Or are those people coming to our workshop? No, they've already taken. It's normally the people that have monies, a little higher income demographics, a little higher in more advanced educational demographics. Those people normally, not always, but normally they have money because they know if they take from that money, they could delay that guaranteed benefit of Social Security for their life or for their spouse's life. So it's kind of self-filtering. I find that the demographics of income, net worth, and education seem to be higher with Social Security workshops than with others. Also, this is not a dinner workshop. This is an educational workshop. I call it, we serve the 3 C's, Cokes, cookies, and coffee. That's it. So people are there to come for the educational factor. If you have a dinner workshop, 20-25% are there for the meal. I still do them. I still have good success from them. But this is a little different animal. There are people that come to an educational workshop like this, held at a library, community center, educational center, college, tech school, etc., that would never come to a sales presentation on a dinner workshop. That doesn't mean they're bad. I'm just saying it's a little different kind of inclination. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. So Social Security maximization seminars, why? Well, timely. Few people understand it. Great age demographics for net worth to work with. They're much more educational. I mean, we put them up. We don't sit them in a table. We do it classroom style. We don't have name tags. The invitation looks just like a classroom for a college. I always say the prospects need us more than we need them. Whether that's true or not, but they'll hunt you down to get the analysis. Pretty high conversion rate. And transitioning from Social Security. So I offer 5 coaching sessions. 5 coaching sessions. And I get paid from coaching. I don't get paid from being in the hierarchy. Your hierarchy, your commission hierarchy. Nope. I get paid $150 per coaching session. Interesting, as long as you qualify, you're contracted through IAMS and intend to do business through the FMO, which Steve is co-owner of, then what happens is that they're going to go in. They know the chance of success is very high for the person who learns Social Security and does a workshop, that they will pay me out of their pocket for you $555 on a scholarship, an IAM scholarship, where the cost to you is $195. Very reasonable. And when you learn, there's twofold here. We want more business through the workshop. But what happens is just learning Social Security itself. If you don't know Social Security inside and out, it's a great way, and I'm not going to pound my chest, but I've trained people for over 25 years, almost 30 years now, in our industry on different subjects. For the last probably 7 years with Social Security as one of those, it's really kind of twofold. You learn Social Security, and then you're able to get in front of more viable prospects through the seminar system. And what happens, once you coach with me, then you basically have a free pass to use me as long as you're doing business with IAMS. Yes, you certainly can use me from here on out for Social Security or other type of financial questions you have. So a lot of people are Lone Rangers out there. It's kind of nice to have a mentor, kind of a board of directors on your side, and there's no cost to you besides just $195 that you're paying for me from a coaching standpoint up front. Okay, so the next slide. What if you apply for benefits early? Is that what it says, Steve?
It says, baby boomer Social Security. Will Social Security be there for me?
Will it be there for me? I'm going to say yes, and we already covered that. It will be there. It will. And the government, Democrat, Republican, independent, socialist, whoever's president at that time period, believe me, before the next 6-7 years, there's going to be a change of Social Security. And it probably will be taking the full retirement age at 66 up to, where it's 67 now for people born 1960 and later. They're going to move it up to 68, 69, or 70. That's the easiest thing to do. Okay, we'll go to the next slide.
It's full retirement age.
Full retirement age. Okay, so full retirement age is from 1943 to 1954. If you're born in those years, doesn't make a difference if it's January the 2nd to the 31st of December, your full retirement age is 66. If you're born like I was in April of 55, makes no difference if it's January 2nd of that or all the way to December 31st, you add 2 months. And each year you had to keep on adding 2 months to full retirement age. Social Security 101 will tell you this. Here's how Social Security works in 30 seconds. What's the earliest date you can take Social Security? What's the age? 62. Right? What's the latest that you can take Social Security? Or you just lose the benefit? 70. You have to take the benefit or you just lose it. What's the date or age in the middle? It's called full retirement age. Well, if you're born between 43 and 54, it's 66. If you're born after 1960 or 60 or later, it's 67. So full retirement age is somewhere in incremental 2-month increments between 66 and 67. So you take it from full retirement age, that's your full benefit. If you take earlier, it's reduced. If you take it 62 and your full retirement age is 66, it's reduced by 25%. If you wait later, it grows a guaranteed 32% up to the age of 70. Not counting cost of living, which is this year, how much? 2%. Highest it's been in 5 or 6 years because inflation's been so low, with interest rates been so low. But yeah, this year, if you wait from 66 to 67, you're guaranteed 10% growth on your income from Social Security if you don't take it. My gosh, what kind of annuity can you get 10% guaranteed? Can't. Income rider of 10% can't. Guaranteed in the stock market can't. There's no such a thing as a 10% government guarantee, except for Social Security. Want to hear something pretty credible? What percentage of the people wait to 70? I am. I'm 63 right now. I'm waiting till 70. No questions about it. You know, if you will wait till 70, 3%. You know how many people take at full retirement age or earlier? 80%. The people that come to workshops have a better chance of getting more money with their Social Security, and we're giving them that information. Okay. So here it says, what if you apply for early benefits? Yeah, it's reduced. And you could go right up the ladder. 25% over 4 years, so it averages about 6% a year. Yeah. What if I delay? 8% a year. So that's the basics. You take earlier than full retirement, it's reduced. You get the benefit now, but it's reduced. If you wait later, it's increased. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. Does it say spousal benefits, Steve?
What if you apply after FRA?
What if you apply? Oh, yeah. And that's what we talked about, too, the 8%.
Now
Plus,
spousal
it's always cost of living. Yeah.
Mhm.
So if you wait 1 year from 66 to 67, you're going to grow 8%, say for this year, if you're delaying, plus 2% cost of living, that's 10%. That ain't shabby, 10% from the U.S. government on a guaranteed income. Okay, we go to the next slide. Now does it say spousal benefits?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to kind of run through those because pretty quickly, but you'll get the feeling. Of course, when we're coaching, we go much slower, we role play, there's things to read, there is some studying. So if you're not willing to put in 6 to 8 hours a week of reading about Social Security for 4 weeks, then you're going to be shortchanging yourself. If you just sign up with Dave Pimper and you're going to learn Social Security and then have the seminar, to bring those qualified prospects in, you'll be behind. You have to do some reading. So you got to go back to school for 6 to 8 hours a week at your leisure, but you've got to go in and read those books. So spousal benefits, basically, PIA stands for primary insurance amount. That's the amount at full retirement age. So John's is $2,000, Jane's is $800. Let's say they both take their benefit. John takes $2,000. Jane, you thought, could take $800. That's an option for her, but as long as John has taken, she can take all of her $800 or half of her husband's, whichever is higher. In this case, half of $2,000 is $1,000. Yeah, pretty cool. All right. Divorce spouse benefits. So here's what happens. I call it the triple play. A lot of couples or a lot of single people, because they've been divorced, don't use this or don't even know about it. But if your marriage has to have lasted 10 years, the person receiving the divorce spouse benefits, they can't be married at the time, and the ex-spouse has to be at least 62. If you set those up, you can claim your ex-spouse just as if you're married to them. Either one. You can collect on each other just like you're married to them. If you have those three kind of golden rules for divorce spouse benefits in your pocket. Pretty cool. Quite liberal, okay? There also is not just survivor benefits, which we're going to talk about, but there is divorced survivor benefits. That's the most liberal of all Social Security benefits. How do survivor benefits? Well, let's just say that Joe and Julie are married. They're over full retirement age. Say they're both 70 years of age. Joe, his benefit is $2,000 and Julie's is $1,200. Joe dies. Julie has the option to keep her benefit, or she could drop her benefit and take her deceased husband's. Of course, those are all gender neutral. But most of the time in this age group, you do probably see 70 or 80% of the time that the male is a higher income earner, sometimes because the wife had stayed home or that's just the position they're in. Yeah, but Joe, she can jump up to Joe's. The interesting thing is, doesn't done automatically. It's not done automatically. Now, spousal benefits, that's done automatically for you, but not survivor benefits. You've got to go in online, or you've got to go into the Social Security Administration office that's local to you and let them know. Otherwise, you'll just keep your benefit. You can't jump to the higher benefit unless you tell them. So why don't they do it automatically? They'd rather not pay that benefit out, wouldn't they? More money in the Social Security coffer. Yeah. Coordinating spousal benefits. So let's talk about that. Steve, you go to the next slide. Does it say file and suspend, or does it say restricted application or claim now, claim more later?
It says survivor benefits.
Survivor benefits. Okay, we just went through that. So can we go to the next one then? The next slide?
This is Bipartisan Budget Act of 2000.
Yep, 2015.
Yep.
So that's the last new laws that came into effect. And you can go to the next slide, Steve.
That's file and suspend.
Yeah, that is gone. You cannot file and suspend any longer. There was a 6-month phase out, and that phased out over 2 years ago.
Okay.
But the interesting thing is, if you go to the next slide, does it say claim now, claim or later, or does it say restricted application?
Restricted application.
Yeah, just call it either one. But restricted application, interesting enough, when I do analysis, restricted application is much more favorable, or more favorable for the majority of the people than file and suspend. 80+% of the people restricted made more. So even though file and suspend is gone, and that's what you always heard about because it's kind of actually what it did, restricted application is really a more important spousal benefit. So kind of stay with me on this, and I know this is kind of hard to understand, especially when we're doing it audio. But here's what happens is, you got Mike and Mary, and they're both full retirement age of 66. Mike's PIA, what's that stand for? Primary insurance amount is $2,000. Mary's PIA primary insurance amount is $800. Now remember, if Mike files, Mary could take $800 or all of Mike's. Half of Mike's is $1,000. It's more. But here's what happens. Mary wants to file and bring some money into the family, but Mike does not. Mike's still working. He wants to let his grow, the 8% in cost of living, so 10%. He wants to let that grow. So what happens is that means Mary could only take her $800 because he hasn't filed. That's right. You can't take half of his unless Mike has filed. So here's what he does. It's called restricting your application. Mike starts his in the eyes of Social Security, but then he stops it simultaneously, receives no payment, no income from Social Security for that. But that opens up a spousal benefit. The restricted application opens up a spousal. There can only be one spousal taken at a time. Who takes it? Mike takes it. Mike takes half of Mary's. Mary's taking her $800. Now he gets $400, half of hers, the spousal, and he lets his grow the 8% in cost of living each year, all the way up to, if he wants to 70. Well, that $400 that he gets through this marriage scenario, free money. And hardly anyone takes it because they don't know it's unavailable. It's just like you've probably seen unclaimed property right now, all the news on it, because this is about the time of the year, in the spring of the year, that all those are listed in the paper. That's like unclaimed property of $4,800 in 1 year, and that $4,800 is you don't go on in and you don't take it. You never read it. That's what we do. We're the bearer, hopefully, of great educational good news to people thinking about claiming for Social Security. That's over $19,000 in 4 years, free money. How many people take a benefit like that are able to do it? Oh, hardly any. But more people who come to one of our workshops. Okay. Next. And we're going to go through those last ones pretty quick. And then, Steve, if there's any questions, then we certainly will take those, okay?
Perfect.
So what can Social Security personnel at the Social Security Administration office, your local office, what can they do and can't do? You know what they can do? And some of them are very good and some are very average. And I think they really, really try. They're understaffed. I know that. But they can estimate your individual benefit. They can tell you what you're entitled to now. You know what they can't do? They can't tell you about restricted application. They can't even give you advice. Is that bizarre? The Social Security Administration cannot give you personal advice of options of what to do. They can tell you what the highest benefit is, but they can't give advice. Who can give advice to those folks? We can. We're financial advisors. You know why they can't give advice? Because they can't go in and ask for personal, non-public information. They can't go in and ask of what their income, what their assets are. I call it the 5 pillars of income. If you go to the next slide, Steve. 5, does they consider Social Security the context of 5 pillars or 4 pillars?
It does now.
Good. Yeah, well, your wages are important to know. Your pensions are important to know. Investable assets that you may not have, but now we include required minimum distributions at 70.5, and how Social Security complements those income sources. Social Security is by far the most flexible of all of those. Yeah. And I wouldn't have said 10 years ago, and I'm embarrassed about this, I'd say never take your retirement money, let it grow tax deferred till you have to take it out. What's the big deal if you take it out at 66 or 65 or 64? You're just taking an RMD early, basically, aren't you? You're taking a distribution that's not forced by the government early, and then letting your Social Security grow if there's that much money in the account. We talk a lot about transitioning, and that's how we uncover assets that we're able to work with. Next slide. Horse's mouth. We use an outside system for the PowerPoint, and I've put some polishes on that and changed some slides and added some slides, but they're very good. They've got 300 great pages of reading, all updated on Social Security laws. They've got the actual analysis. That's all part of it. It's a little over $500, like $512. It's kind of a special that IAMS has, that they made a deal with Horse's Mouth. You can buy that directly. That'll be something that is a cost to you. That's for a year's time. Might be a little bit less to renew that, $300 to $400. Go to the next slide. Myself, and I don't know, it may say presented over, but we've done, as of yesterday, I think it's 479 public seminars. So a lot of them, just under 500 public seminars. I've been doing them since the mid-'80s, and it's the major way that I bring in the majority of my new business within my practice. But I try to make a complicated subject easier to understand. It's hard in a 45-minute webinar that I'm presenting. I know your head is kind of spinning around, but believe me, when we start going through the ABCs of each individual, whether it be divorced spouse or survivor or restricted application, you will get it, especially with the reading that you're doing to back up my coaching. It's a turnkey system. Lynn Feldhauser, one of our administrators in our office, she is great, and she gives you all the information. We help you with our print house and mail house and marketing house that does the invitation. Becky works with all of the people who does the mine and all of the people that we coach. She's our designated representative, and I've worked with her for years and years. We can go to the next slide. So I always bring this up. It says, procrastination is my sin. It brings me constant sorrow. I really shouldn't practice it. Perhaps I'll stop. Tomorrow never comes, does it? If you heard something today that you say, you know what, I better talk to Dave Pemper. Just at least bounce some things off. And let's see what this is all about. And you know what? Remember, Social Security seminars in general, it's a pay to play. What's the big cost in a seminar? It's the mailing. It's the mailing, and we do some social media now with that, but it costs. Yeah, so you got $3,000 plus into the mailing to get 35 to 45 people to the workshop. But if you can get 10 or 12 or 13 appointments in front of people, and the majority of those people have a fair amount of assets, if you're halfway decent at sales, you're going to go in and you're going to close some business. And it doesn't need much to pay for $3,000 or $3,500. I mean, in today's day and time, you need $50,000, $60,000 on a fixed index, $100,000 on a fixed. I mean, that's what I'm trying to bring in $250,000 of assets one way or the other that I'm working with through a seminar mailing. And I pay back my costs, and I certainly have a good premium as far as that works with my compensation. But people are in need of this. They want this. So what Steve's going to do now, he's going to bring up a survey, and this is pretty low key on my part, but if you mark no, then you're not going to talk to me, and that's fine. If you mark yes, then Lynn will call tomorrow, and she's going to go on in, and we're going to find a good time that kind of around because I have a lot of appointments, but around my appointment schedule. but a good time for you and me to talk on the phone for 25, 30 minutes. Put down a daytime phone number, that's good for her to call. But it isn't one of the associates. It's myself who you're talking to. The coaching comes from me. We do coaching on the phone and through the PowerPoint of the presentation itself that you actually give. You get a video of me of doing it. IAMS went in and brought a professional videotaper, but I guess it's not called a videotaper, is it, Steve?
Videographer. Videographer.
Yeah, well, you went to private school. You can tell I went to public, can't you? So, yeah, we're going to have one of those guys. They came in, took my video for an hour and 3 minutes. You get that. I mean, we really work hand in hand with you to give you the absolute, as much background as you can. We want you to be successful. IAMS is paying for a good part of the coaching because they hope that you're writing more business through IAMS, and of course that they know that's how their bread's buttered. Okay, so I'm going to throw this over to you, Steve, and we'll see if there's any questions there for me to answer.
Thank you, Dave. So there are 3 or 4 questions here that talk a little bit about the numbers of it all. And I know you went through some of it. Maybe it would be good if you just kind of did a quick summary of what you spend in general terms, what you get in terms of response, what you get in terms of appointments, and a little bit about what your closing is, and maybe how that comes out in the wash in terms of income.
And this is from an average, so I'm going to take this over 3 or 4 workshops, but here's what the goal is of workshops with Social Security. Your upfront cost is I charge $750 for 5 coaching sessions that last for 45 minutes each on consecutive weeks. IAMS with the scholarship, if you qualify, they pay for $555 to me, and I charge you $195. So that's a one-time upfront cost, $195. Horse's Mouth is $512 from door to door. What's included in that? It's called a toolkit. So you get the seminar system, and I've upgraded that some, but we use their slides. There is analysis. So you're able to type in everything for the 2 people and do a printed colored report that has graphs and cash flows, etc. There's 300 pages of readings. 200 is just of Social Security in general, the ins and outs. A little over 100 pages of questions and answers. There's an online with Elaine Floyd that you can type a question, and she will reply within 24 hours. That's all part of the system. That's an upfront charge of a little over $512, and there's a renewal year to year of that of $300-400. Okay, so there's a kind of one-time cost. Okay, the actual big cost of the program, of course, is the mailing. We hard mail 6,000 at 55 cents each, so that's $3,300. So you have $3,300. So it's a pay to play. You know what? $3,300 could buy you a used car. Not a very good one, but it could buy a used car. So you've got a big investment into this. I mean, you want to get as good as you can with the presentation. Sometimes we'll do social media, and that seems to be working with non-dinner workshops. Social media runs between $150 and $500, depending on how we do that, okay? So we have the workshop. If we mail out 6,000, do some social media, I hope to give or take, I hope 40 people come. 40 people, 35 to 45. Now, Steve, you know this. I mean, if it's low numbers, it's probably 30. But we just had some folks up in the Northeast that had it was like 77 people that came between 2 workshops. So it depends on your area a little bit. But what we hope is if we have 26, 27 buying units, we hope half of those people come in for appointments. And of those, say you got 14 people coming in for appointments. Of those 14 people, we normally are going to have half of those people are there strictly for Social Security, but half we've uncovered assets. We asked them would they be open for us to give them some ideas of what to do with a portion of all those assets, and half of those appointments are going to turn into second appointments and or closing appointments. And then normally we close half of those. So 1 to 3 people. If I close 1, it normally pays for the workshop. When I close 2, now it's gravy. 3, double gravy. I want 250 to 300,000. That's what I would like to get. So I'm not looking for millions of dollars. Have I gotten millions of dollars, $1 million plus from workshops? Certainly I have. Is it the norm? Certainly it's not. Have I been blanked? I have, not very often. But what happens is that if you get 250,000 or more, then that pays for your cost most likely, and certainly goes in and makes you have a new client or clients, and it puts you on the road to success by having just talking. If you can talk to 10, 12, 13 appointments, and those are injected appointments. Now you've paid for those appointments, but you've injected your business. I'll tell you right now, go to any FMO. You go to IAMS, you go to any of the big FMOs that are out there, you take their top 10 biggest producers, you cannot show me one FMO where that a portion of those biggest producers are seminar providers. So you know it's working. Or my group of guys and gals, they wouldn't be doing them, would we? We wouldn't have just done it yesterday of the appointments I got. Yeah. Okay, Steve. So hopefully that kind of covers that that area.
Yeah, very helpful. Very helpful. There, Randy asks a question. He said, "Isn't this an old concept that's kind of been beat to death?" You want to answer that, or you want me to chime in?
I'll let you chime in.
Thank you. So, Randy, my response to that would be that it is a concept that has been around a while, although I wouldn't say a long time. But the bottom line is that the reason that you still see a lot of information out there, people doing seminars and mailers about it, is because it still works. And the reason it still works is because there's a lot of people that are just now trending into needing advice on Social Security. And there really, if you think about it, very few times in a person's life where they really have, that event that needs to be addressed. RMDs need to be addressed. Social Security needs to be addressed. Medicare needs to be addressed. And they have questions and they need help. And the odd thing about Social Security is it's most people is one of their major assets, whether they think of it that way or not. It's one of their major assets, and they can't go anywhere to get proactive advice. Can they go to Social Security Administration, ask a question and get an answer? Yes. Can they go to the Social Security Administration, ask a general question and ask for some guidance? Nope. They need it. They need to get it somewhere. And you don't want to necessarily take the time to be a Social Security expert, but it's part of your job. But for Joe, John, and Judy Public, they don't want to go and become themselves a Social Security expert. They need somebody that can give them that information. And frankly, there's not enough people doing what we're talking about here doing right now. There just aren't enough people doing it. It's underserved, contrary to what you might think. So there's a lot of opportunity. That opportunity gets you in front of just the right people that you want to talk to, and that's why Social Security claiming seminars have been so successful. In my experience, we've been doing seminars with producers of different kinds for about 18 years. We have never had the ongoing, long-term, regular success that we've seen with Social Security claiming. It's just a situation that needs addressing, and we're really providing a great service, I think, to the public by making it available. So, in short, it's been around for a while, but there's still plenty of good opportunities there. And I think part of that is that you need, there's a lot of guys doing Social Security claiming stuff, and it truly is like, hey, let's get him in the door and then let's talk about what we want to talk about. You have to supply the information, and to supply the information, you have to take the time to dig into Social Security claiming and become the expert on it in your area. And once you do that, once you position yourself that way, you're going to have a regular, steady flow of people coming to you. To do that, you need some help. So when Dave and I first began talking about this, I guess probably about 4 years ago now, and I said, I think there's some opportunity here, Dave. And Dave said, you know what, I think you're right. And he got the first thing he did was learn about Social Security. So he's a seminar expert guy, an expert sales guy, but the first thing that he did was go and learn about Social Security. So Dave is going to help our guys and gals out there with that. That's really important. And then as far from a seminar standpoint, you need to have that step-by-step to make sure that at any point you're being as efficient and as exacting as you can in the process to make sure that you get from point A to point B to point C to point D without missing anything obvious, because believe me, it has happened. We do not offer seminars of any kind anymore without the one-on-one coaching, because the key to success in the seminar business is to not miss any of the obvious traps that you need to make sure that you hit. And as long as you're doing that, then you're going to have success in the seminar business, certainly in the Social Security claiming business, because there's no other seminar that counts less on showmanship, less on the charisma, if you will, of the presenter. It really is facts and teaching and then moving to the next level. So Social Security seminars, a lot of opportunity. You need to have the right assistance. Dave Pimper is, I think, the best. As I started off saying before even Dave got on, I think he's the best in the industry to help people with this through this process. So great fit. I have a couple other questions. Will you send me the link? Yes, we'll send everyone a link so you can hear this webinar at your convenience. One more question. Selling cycle. So you're going to be the best person for sure to answer this question, Dave. The selling cycle. What's the process for you? How does it compare to what you would call a standard selling cycle?
The standard selling cycle normally is a person comes in, you kind of warm them up, you get them comfortable with the setting, you start asking questions of what they want to accomplish with their money. You fact find, then you set up an appointment for the next week, you come back, you kind of warm up again, you reconnoiter, you go through the presentation, and you close. And then you do the paperwork if it closes. With Social Security, there's one more step. There is Social Security. So it's a three-part system is what I use. Now, this isn't in stone, but this is what I use. I get a little more windshield time with them. They come from the workshop. They're familiar with you, though it's been on a group basis. They come in, you warm up, you make them feel comfortable with the setting, and then you talk about Social Security. And I always ask them, tell me what you want to accomplish here today. Tell me what's important. What's the main two things that you want to accomplish? And I love when they say, well, we do want to find out when the best time for us to claim is, but we tell them through, which you get all of my letters that we mail out and what we do. We tell them, if you want a full comprehensive, please bring in your investment statements, your insurance statements, any kind of assets that you have that we can go in and get a comprehensive plan. And not everyone does that, but when they do that, but we love this. Once out of every 4 or 5 appointments, someone will say, plus, you know what, I've got this dormant 401k that I have not done anything with. Well, that excites me because that's easy. That's low-hanging fruit, no doubt, for us to work with. But that's basically what. So then I find the first appointment, we go through Social Security, we go through the 5 pillars of income, so wages, pensions, investable assets for income stream, RMDs, and how Social Security complements within those 5 income streams. So I'm finding their asset, and then we're trying to find someone who they're unhappy with their agent, their broker, where their return hasn't been good, where whatever. But they would open it up for us to work with it. And we're very specific on the questions that we ask, which I cover in coaching, the questions that I ask there. And if I have found money and they're open to let me propose, then it goes to a second appointment. Otherwise, it doesn't. It doesn't go to a second appointment. We go in and we'll email them the Social Security report. But I don't meet a second time unless we find money. And then there's a second, so we go in there and present the Social Security, and then we fact find, and then the third appointment we go in and we present and close. So it goes from the sales cycle is extended with one session. Do you have to do that? No, but I have found that's the best way, and I actually do that now with the majority of my clients, even if Social Security is not involved. It seems like that one extra appointment that to be with me and in front of me, it seems to build the trust a little more. I've incorporated it into my sales process, with my business.
Yeah, there's no doubt that's kind of what I hear across the board too from folks that are doing the Social Security seminars. Is that process is just about one appointment longer, so you have to be ready for that, not just in terms of your time, but the time from meeting the folks to where you might actually do business and turn around to actual commissions. So I think, Dave, that we've answered most of the questions. If there are any more that pop up, we'll try to get those answered maybe on a one-on-one basis, so we're glad to do that. I think we're ready to close for today. I want to close by thanking you all for taking some time out of your schedule and for your patience as we got started here today. We had a little technical difficulty on the front end and working through that with us. We appreciate that very much. We'll try and avoid that in the future. That being said, thank you for taking some time out of a Wednesday morning to join us. We know that your time is important. We hope we're giving you stuff of value, and we certainly value the fact that you're wanting to learn more. So here at IAMS, you are the kind of folks that we want to work with. Whatever we can do to earn and grow and help you in your business, we'll gladly do. And part of that is great training and great partners like Mr. Pimper. So, Dave, I want to thank you, too, for joining us. I appreciate your muscling through the technical issues and working with us.
Thank you.
Not at all. We appreciate that very much. It's great to have someone like Dave that, as I mentioned, is really invested in the success of our guys. That's, that's just priceless to us. So we appreciate you joining us today, everybody. And if we can help you any further, give us a call here at the office. You have our number, 800-255-5055. We'll be glad to connect you up with Dave if you want to have a one-on-one conversation with you. Those of you that checked yes on the poll, we'll hear from Dave here very shortly, or hear from his office here probably in the next 24 hours. Thank you for joining us. Dave, is there anything you want to say as we close out?
No, I just appreciate every time. I apologize. We did run a little overboard. But everyone who marked yes, I'm going to enjoy talking with you and talking about your marketing needs and just see if there's some kind of fit here. So have a real productive week, and hopefully we'll talk in a day or two.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.